Hi everyone, so today we are going to be piping flowers for beginners. Now we are just going to be using 3 different piping tips. You will be able to create these beautiful flowers. I will explain as we go along why you will only need 3, because we can do something different for the centres of the flowers. And I am including the full buttercream recipe and method. I really want to dive straight into this, so let's make a start. I really do hope you find it helpful, and please remember to subscribe and support the channel. For the first flower, you are going to need a Wilton piping tip number 81, and as you can see here, it's a U shape. Just bear in mind, once you have placed your piping tip in the piping bag, the U shape will be touching the cupcake. Make sure to not overfill the bag. You want it about halfway up and make sure it's very tight. All you need to do now, make sure the U shape is touching the cupcake. Simply hold and lift up. So you're squeezing the piping bag. You're lifting up as you are gently pulling away, and then you stop squeezing and you will be left with these stunning petals. We simply repeat that process to add another layer of petals, just holding and lifting up. But this time, as you lift up, you want to stop roughly halfway up the first petal that you have just added. Again, you'll find the more you do this, the faster you get. So you're just holding and gently lifting up the piping bag, going all the way around the inside. But you want to leave a small gap bang in the centre. If you do not have a piping nozzle, simply cut the end off a piping bag and pipe some buttercream in the centre. Now go back to nozzle number 81 and simply fill in the centre. It will be slightly raised and look more realistic. That is the first flower completed. So for my second flower, I am using the Wilton nozzle 103. It looks like a teardrop shape. So you want the fat end on the cupcake and you want to be piping at an angle. Now then, with this particular one, I have filled half of the bag with white buttercream and the other half with pink, just to give it a more two-toned colour. Simply go around the outside of the cupcake. So you are bending at a slight angle, but the thin end is the petal part, so that wants to be on the outer edge, and the fat end of the teardrop is the part that needs to touch the cupcake. Simply repeat that motion, adding more petals for a second layer. Again, with this cupcake, just leave the centre empty. Simply add a blob of buttercream to the centre. Now if you don't have a piping bag, you can just cut the end off one. I then take a darker pink. I do use a number 3 piping nozzle by Wilton. And then you just want to gently squeeze and pull away. Don't worry too much about the colours you're using. And again, if you don't have a piping bag, because this is a simple round shape, simply cut off a very small amount at the end of a disposable bag. Before I show you our third and final flower, I'm going to show you my buttercream recipe. You want to be using Lurpak butter or one that's high quality. Take exactly 200 gram and add this to a mixer. You then want to beat on high until it's light and creamy. Once this has been beaten, this is the sort of consistency that you are actually looking for. It needs to be pale and extremely soft. You then want to take a high quality icing sugar. I've always used Tate & Lyle, but there are some excellent ones on the market, and add exactly 300 gram to your creamed butter. If you choose to, you can then add a flavouring of choice. Now, I love Nelson Massey, but make sure when you add the flavouring, it is just the extract. You don't want anything with any vanilla pods in there, because remember, we're using this for piping. So 1 teaspoon of Nelson Massey vanilla extract, because it's completely smooth, and then exactly 1 level tablespoon of cooled down boiled water. This just helps make it a little bit more soft. I then simply place this back in my mixer, and you want to beat it on high until it looks just like this. This is perfect now for piping and adding to our bags. If you leave some separate in a bowl, you can just beat it up again a little bit later on, and it's absolutely perfect to use. For my final flower, I'm using the Wilton 104 piping tip. It's pretty much the same as the 103, except you're going to get some larger petals. We are going to be doing this slightly differently though. So you want the large end touching the cupcake and the small end of the teardrop facing away, but then give it a little wriggle. Did you see how I'm moving it and wriggling it just as we are going round the outer edge of the cupcake? Now this buttercream has gone a little bit soft. Don't panic. I finish off the outside of this cupcake. I take off the piping tip just because it's stainless steel, and I place the rest in the fridge just for a short period of time, just to help it toughen up. Take time with your cupcakes. Now I have been holding this for a while. I've not wanted to waste any buttercream, so the white buttercream used at the beginning of this tutorial, some of it has been turned pink. But just keep on putting it in the fridge and just take your time. We're simply going to repeat that now, but on the inner circle. So again, the teardrop shape, you want the thin end facing away. That's the end of the petal, and the fatter end of the teardrop touching the cupcake. If you do it in that direction, you are not going to go wrong. Simply take your time. You'll also notice that because I'm doing it at an angle, when you do add your second layer, they actually face up even more. It just makes the whole flower come to life. They are so easy to do. These are excellent if you are a beginner baker. So do that, and then we're just going to add the final finishing touches to our third flower. So just like we did with the previous two flowers, I add a large piece of white to the center. Again, you can just use a piping bag and cut it off at the end. And then using a Wilton No. 3 nozzle, again, you don't need this nozzle, you could just use a piping bag. I add those finishing touches. It really is as simple and as easy as that. We have created 3 beautiful flowers in a matter of minutes, perfect for a beginner baker. Happy baking, everyone. I will be back soon with more buttercream flower tutorials. Take care, and I'll see you later.